So, okay, I'm not up to date on this lore. Can somebody explain? So, Donald Trump wanted to do, okay, so let me see if I have this correct. Donald Trump wanted to do an unlawful photo op at Arlington National Cemetery and then accuse Kamala Harris of not being present there. The ceremony, it was a wreath-laying ceremony to mark the anniversary of the 13 dudes who got murked in Kabul when we pulled out of Afghanistan. And they wanted to be like, why didn't Kamala Harris show up? And they ended up getting in a fight with an attendant at Arlington. Do I have that correct? Please, I'm genuinely asking. This is what I have heard.
We're learning new details about an incident that turned physical at Arlington National Cemetery during Donald Trump's visit there on Monday. It happened while Trump was in Section 60, the burial site for recent U.S. casualties. Trump suggesting on Truth Social that the problem stemmed from his campaign's use of photography.
My understanding is that at Arlington you can't take photos. The only people who can take photos or videos are the Arlington Cemetery staff, and they do this to maintain an air of reverence. And, well, in Section 60 at least, there are parts of Arlington you can take photos at, like the Tomb of the National Guard, but in this area you cannot.
Elena Treen has more on that from Washington. What happened here?
Right. Well, Sarah, so a lot of back and forth from both sides, the Arlington National Cemetery, but also the Trump campaign on what exactly did happen. But what we know is that some people who worked at the cemetery had blocked members of Donald Trump's team, members of his campaign, on Monday from attending and participating in some of the wreath ceremony when Donald Trump was laying some of the wreaths on Monday to honor the 13 fallen U.S. service members who were at Kabul's.
There's a federal law specifically barring campaigning in Arlington and others such hallowed ground. I don't think it's a general media ban. Is that true? Okay, I don't like this neutral title.
Arlington National Cemetery is the most hallowed burial ground for our nation's fallen.
I've heard about this.
Trump staffers got, quote, aggressive, both verbally and physically on Monday in a confrontation with an Arlington National Cemetery official. It happened after former President Trump and his aides arrived at the nation's largest military cemetery with a campaign photographer, even though the law prohibits any filming there for partisan, political, or fundraising purposes.
Yeah, my understanding is that the plan here was to use this as a talking point against Kamala Harris, because they were going to be like, why didn't you show up for a wreath-laying ceremony for the 13 people who died in Afghanistan, you know? The, like, fake ceremony that you're not legally allowed to do.
By Tuesday, Trump had posted a video of his visit, set to music, on TikTok, as campaign officials blamed the confrontation on a cemetery staffer, who they said was, quote, clearly suffering from a mental health episode.
You know? It's a bold strategy. It's a bold strategy.
Defense officials insist it was the campaign aides who were unprofessional, and a report has been filed. Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, downplayed the incident.
The altercation at Arlington Cemetery is the media creating a story where I really don't think that there is one.
And he tried to make it about Vice President Harris.
Okay, I'm gonna be real here. I maintain my position that American voters are stupid hogs. This might actually anger a lot of veterans. Arlington National Cemetery is one of the few things in this country that we have real ceremony for. It's one of the few institutions that we've enshrined with the gravitas that, like, you would expect from, I don't know, like a British or French. Like, America's mostly pretty casual. This is a very big deal. It's pretty bad.
He wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell.
Harris Harris hasn't said anything about the controversy. She and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, are on a 2-day bus tour of Georgia.
I don't get why Trump seems to have such contempt for soldiers. Because Trump is literally like a 1980s businessman. He's literally a real estate mogul. If you're like too much of a kiss ass, you're beneath him. If you're a sucker who got like baited into the war that he was smart enough to skip out on by draft dodging, you're a sucker. That's it. That's it. Like, imagine a cartoonishly evil 1980s businessman and how he would feel about people beneath him. And you get that, you know, he's incredibly self-centered. So the idea of somebody joining the military and risking their life for their country, again, I'm not saying I respect it, okay? But to him, the reason he doesn't respect it is not because he's, you know, a principled opponent to American imperialism, but because he thinks you're a sucker. This is like a confirmed, we know this. He said this. This is like a known element of his character. But he can't hold it back.
Polls show the race is suddenly neck and neck.
Sometimes you're going to win the game, sometimes you may not. But you know, you never let any circumstance.
Why hate specifically? Why not something else like pity? When has Trump ever felt pity for anything? That's not a megalomaniacal emotion. They don't feel that.
Knock you down or slow you down.
And he has a plan.
Oh.
The Harris campaign released a new ad today.
Okay, you're just saying shit, man. I want to hear more about this. This is like a big deal.
Tonight, the Trump campaign is defending the candidate's Monday visit to Arlington National Cemetery, now being criticized for politicizing America's war dead on hallowed ground.
What a horrible day it was.
The campaign on Tuesday posting this TikTok highlight video of Trump's trip, showing him laying a wreath in honor of the service members killed at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan and posing with family members among the gravestones. Several campaign staff posting their own content too.
It's disrespectful. It's not Disney World. It's Arlington National Cemetery, and it should be respected as such.
The visit first drawing scrutiny after a reported altercation between campaign and cemetery staff over photography. The Trump campaign saying a staffer, quote, decided to physically block members of President Trump's team during a very solemn ceremony. A cemetery spokesperson writing, federal law prohibits political campaign or election-related activities within our...
The thumbs up is especially crazy, genuinely. The fact that he chose that.
Let's shift gears here. And we've been talking about where many of America's war dead are buried. And he posed for photos. In the strangest of these pictures, the former president is smiling and giving a thumbs up by the grave of a Marine. It's an image of a man who has no idea how to behave around fallen heroes. The event was supposed to be respectful and private. According to a press pool note, the families of the troops had asked that there be no media coverage in the area where the service members were buried, but Trump seemed to have other ideas. It's hard to see Trump's visit as anything but a campaign stop intended to court the military vote. By now, Trump...
This has backfired, I think, more than maybe some of you guys think. The Army has put out a statement defending the cemetery official. The Army. The Army. You know? I mean, obviously, it's Arlington. It's not like a private cemetery. It's Arlington. The U.S. Army defended an Arlington National Cemetery employee who was pushed aside during a visit by former President Donald Trump, saying she acted professionally and was being unfairly attacked. Do you have any idea how badly you have to act to, like, get the military to officially comment on any kind of campaign proceeding? They're really not supposed to do that, but in this case, he kind of brought it on himself. The U.S. military is meant to be apolitical. Post on TikTok, impact on veteran voters. No way for a government official or political candidate to conduct themselves in sacred ground of Section 60 at Arlington, retired U.S. Navy Admiral James Stavridis said on Twitter. Wait, they had an altercation with a woman and claimed she was having a mental health episode? Yes, a worker at the cemetery came up to them and said that they could not do this, and she got pushed away, and then they claimed she was having a mental health episode. Which is wild. They're doing a lot to earn the condemnation of the military, I have to say.
Are you going to fire those generals, the woke generals at the top? Because people have been talking
yes,
about it.
I would get rid of them, yeah. But see, now I know them. I didn't know them before. But, you know, I came in. What do I know? I was a New York real estate person. But no, I'd fire them. I would fire them. You can't have woke military.
The woke generals, yeah. How are they so bad about this? I mean, we'll see if it leads to anything. I mean, This is really smart of Trump. As a fascist, you don't want the military on your side. That's true. You know, there are a lot of ways that an insurrection from the right could potentially go down, and none of them work if the military doesn't allow them to do it, because the military has to allow you to do anything in this country. If the military doesn't want you doing something, you don't do it. It's that simple. That's how politics always works. That's how it always will work, you know? So I have to say, Trump consistently irritating the everyone in the military, from who's been to West Point, everyone officer on up, is brilliant strategy. Fantastic strategizing. Literally poking the tiger. I mean, I just can't imagine a situation where if there's a constitutional crisis and the military is called in, National Guard or whatever, in some moment of truth, I just cannot imagine that the woke generals of the Pentagon would side with Trump. Officers are basically learned professionals. Yeah. There's a big difference between folks who have gone to West Point, your average military recruit.
Trump's use of the military as a prop for his own ends should surprise no one. To remind Americans how little he understands about service, sacrifice, and heroism. And Charlie, let's get you to expand upon that. We were ticking through earlier in the show the long list of
breaking news.
Sorry.
The times where Donald Trump has indeed denigrated the service of others, including those who have given their lives for the country. And as you see it, he did it again this week.
Well, this is the great paradox of Donald Trump. His own record of non-service is of course well documented, but so is this long record of denigrating the service of others and his contempt, and yet he continues to wrap himself as the champion of the military, and many veterans seem to think that he is an ally of the military. But you walk through, you look at this picture that you're showing right now.
This is such a crazy photo. I cannot get over it. It's incredible. It looks so trashy. Genuinely, that's what it looks like to me. It literally just looks like a sprawled out Southern family reunion. Thumbs up in front of a gravestone. It looks so bad. It looks so bad. Right after shoving a lady who worked there. It's the same energy as Trump in front of the banquet of McDonald's. Literally, yeah. This is what he does. He just stands there and thumbs up, There's not much engagement with the honor of the... And again, I'm not, doing the we need to honor our troops or veterans bullshit or whatever. I'm just saying that it's definitely politically expedient to pretend that you do. And he doesn't.
I mean, there's something deeply unnatural about this. Who posing with a thumbs up in front of the grave of a fallen soldier? Who does that? Somebody who, frankly, just does not understand what the sacrifice means. And you go back through whether it's the attack on John McCain for being a POW, or his suggestion at one point that he did not want disabled veterans to be in an Independence Day military parade because it would make him look bad, or his comments to his...
It's like when Nick Fuentes said when he did that, when he went, I think it was to the TPUSA event, if you're ugly or fat, hard, don't show up next to me, you'll make me look bad. It's literally that bit from the president of the United States. It's so funny. It's so funny how fascists are just innately repulsed by any superficial signifier of weakness or degeneracy.
Former chief of staff, retired General John Kelly, when they went to Arlington in 2017, and they're standing next to John Kelly's son, Robert, who was a lieutenant who was killed in Afghanistan. And Donald Trump said to General Kelly, "I don't understand why they do this. What's in it for them?" Or when he refused to go to the military cemetery in France, calling them losers and suckers.
That's true. All right, this guy's just repeating the greats. I don't like it when people just repeat the greats. That's
this morning, the U.S. Army is rebuking the Trump campaign for inserting politics into a visit to Arlington National Cemetery and for an altercation with a cemetery employee. CNN Pentagon correspondent Oren Lieberman joins me live from the Pentagon. Oren, so what is the Army saying in this rare statement?
Manu, this is a fairly remarkable statement, both, as you point out, because of the rebuke of the Trump campaign, and then for standing up to the Arlington National Cemetery employee who was involved in this.
An official statement from the U.S. Army condemning the Trump campaign is just insane to me. I genuinely can't believe it reached this point. I genuinely cannot believe we've reached this point.
Statement doesn't mention the Trump campaign or former President Donald Trump explicitly, but it's also very clear to what it's referring.
Right, yeah.
Here's a part of the statement. Let me read this to you. Participants in the August 26th ceremony and subsequent Section 60 visit were made aware of federal laws, Army regulations, and DoD policies which clearly prohibit political activities. An Arlington National Cemetery employee who attempted to ensure adherence to these rules was abruptly pushed aside. ANC is a national shrine to the honored dead of the armed forces, and its dedicated staff will continue to ensure public ceremonies are conducted with dignity and respect. In that statement, the Army basically says the visit as it was carried out in Section 60, which is where fallen service members from Iraq and Afghanistan are buried, was a violation of federal law. That law explicitly states memorial services and ceremonies at Army National Military Cemeteries will not include partisan political activities. That's where they say the visit violated federal law. But afterwards, a member of the Trump campaign also suggested the Arlington employee with which this altercation happened was, quote, a despicable individual, and someone even suggested that she might have mental health issues.
And that too, man. Like, why wouldn't you say, oh, we had a disagreement and there was some confusion? Or like, but like the reflexive, oh, the worker at Arlington was having a mental health episode and was evil. It's crazy. Absolute lunatics.
Here, the Army stood by their employee, praising her professionalism and saying it's an incredibly important and sacred job she has at Arlington National Cemetery. Once again, Manu, an incredible statement in this rebuke of the campaign and, of course, standing up for the employee involved in this.
Yeah, remarkable, rare. You don't see this very often. And Laura Lieberman,
or
thank
at
you
all.
for that from the Pentagon. My panel is now back to digest this. Laura, I mean, as we're saying here, the Army does not usually weigh in on issues like this, but decided to do so here, saying that the Trump campaign violated federal law and disputing what the Trump campaign said publicly about what happened here at this gravesite.
Yeah, the Trump campaign has tried to deny and say that this incident didn't happen the way that it was characterized, but whether it's Arlington.
Please, God, can you campaign on publicly arguing with the Army over this? I would love to see constant headlines on that. Rare, extremely base military moment. I will keep repeating this because I think it's important to repeat it. Never forget the fact, okay, that even if your average enlisted guy is, well, you know how they are. The brass at the Pentagon are not supporters of Trump's campaign, like, at all. And the reason for that is simple. It's because they're educated professionals. That's literally it. They're like neocons at most. They're rhinos at most. And a lot of them are neo-libs. Their primary political lean is towards the power and hegemony of the United States, which is not good, but it's a technocracy, you know? It's not like a fascist-leaning system, you know? It can be weaponized by fascists 100%, and it has been many times in this country and others. But the actual, you understand what I'm talking about, right? There's a technocratic, educated professionalism in the upper brass that is just not, you know, they're not all Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz types, you know? It's not a bunch of, like, partisan dumb f***s. At least it's not how they conduct themselves. Yeah. Either way, it's pretty wild. Pretty goddamn wild. Just off vibes, it feels like enlisted nowadays are equally as divided as general population. Actually, one of the articles that I just closed the tab of said that the enlisted goes about 63% leaning or identifying as Republican. I imagine this is mostly because most enlisted are men, you know? So it might well be that if you do the regressive analysis and you factor in the fact that the vast majority of enlisted or of veterans are men, they come out like just median. They come out just even, you know? Because men are obviously more Trump aligned because they're dumb. Men are emotional and stupid because they're dumb and gay. Well, no. I'm dumb and gay, okay? We need to separate